This might be the most fun video I've made in a long time. Are you ready for an adventure? We decided we were going to go on an airboat ride. And I thought I would show you what we saw and tell you what we did and let you in on that adventure. Terry called around and checked around on the internet to see about a place to go. He wanted to see an alligator, and every time we come to Florida, he wants to see an alligator, and we never see alligators. And I have seen a couple, but they're little ones, and he's never seen one. We've been down here a few times, 4 or 5 times in the last 20 years, and hasn't seen one. He's asked every single time. We went out to the swamp and the Everglades, and there was an airboat ride thing down there, and they weren't riding it that day, so we didn't go. There's a bunch of stuff. Anyways, still wanted to see one. My aunt lives north of all the big southern cities and south of Oakland, or Orlando, Oakland. I'm back in Oregon again, Orlando. So we decided to find an airboat by Lake Okeechobee. And there was a few. There's a handful out there to pick from. And we found one that we thought would be good. He had a reasonable price for his 1 hour day trips. And we drove out and followed Google Maps. It took us close, but not to the right place. Maybe if we would have been paying more attention, we would have gone to the right place, like to the signs, the big giant signs that were out there. But we turned right instead of left, because that's where Google said. And it was an empty, abandoned, vacant, old, like parking area, maybe even a boat launch. And somebody had to go to the bathroom. It wasn't me this time. So across the street was the nice new boat launch and restroom facility. So we went over there to go to the bathroom and call the guy. And we figured, oh, this is where he must have meant, because we had called and he said across the way. You went left, you should have gone right, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, we got over there and there was a guy launching an airboat, and we thought, oh, that's him. It wasn't him. So we called again. He goes, you went across the street. I just said to turn left instead of right. So we went back and we found this little dirt road, and lo and behold, a big sign that says airboat rides. And we went down and found it. It was at the end of a dirt road and kind of not real fancy, but I could see that we were going to be in for an adventure. The guy was hilarious. He was waving his hat like he was flagging us down because we were lost. And he was really nice. His name was Kenny. He introduced himself. He told us where to sit. He told us how to put on our headsets and how to use the mics if we wanted to. And off we went. We weren't even 2 minutes on the boat when he slowed it down to a crawl and then stopped. And right in front of us or beside us was this giant head floating in the water. I mean, pretty good size. It's probably an 8 to 10 foot alligator, maybe even more, just floating there. And as we sat there, another one popped up. Another one popped up. Pretty soon there was 5, 6, 7, and as you're looking around the corner of the bushes, there's another one, another one. It's like, holy cow, there's a lot of alligators in this lake. We were in the lake still too. We weren't even, back in the Everglades. We were actually on the edge of the Okeechobee River, where it comes into the lake, and a boat went zipping from the lake up the river, and all the heads just went poof, and they went down, and you couldn't see them anymore. It's like, but they're still in there. It was weird. But we headed across the river and kind of went into the grassy areas and the heavier, like lilies and stuff, just the stuff on the top of the ground or the water. And he said, we're going to go find a mama who likes to protect her nest, and she's a good mama. Because most of the mamas in the lake don't stay and guard their nests. They just lay the eggs and leave. And this mama actually sits and guards her nest. We pulled right up next to her, and it looked kind of small. It was only sticking out of the ground about a foot. And I know from watching The Crocodile Hunter that they build their nests in heaping mounds, and they're usually pretty big. But he said that the water had risen over a foot, and so most of her nest was underwater, which meant most of her eggs weren't going to make it. And yet she was still there protecting them, even if it's just one. He also said that when they come out of their eggs, that sometimes they're a good mama and they take good care of them, and other times they eat them because they're hungry. So hopefully she's not going to be a hungry mama, and she will protect her babies and not eat them. But he said she's right in that same area every year. She lays her eggs, builds her nest, lays her eggs, and hangs out with them. So they'd look for her and find her and just kind of watch out for her. From there we went off and we saw some birds and some flowers, and he picked us some lily flowers. They were really pretty. And he told us a little bit about how there's invasive fish in there. So most people who have had an aquarium have had a Plecostomus or a suckerfish, the little spotted brown ones. They're really cool. And when they get really big, they're kind of spiny and annoying and huge. If you have a big aquarium, they get really big. We had a 55-gallon aquarium, and ours got to be 18 inches. Pretty big. Anyways, they get big and people throw them in the river or in the lake. And these suckers were huge, and they have become invasive there. They eat the bass eggs and the other eggs and stuff. So it makes it kind of hard for the native-born species to flourish. So he caught one and showed it to us. It was easy once he showed us how to catch the nests or to see the nests, because there's all this, matter, like broken branches and leaves and reeds and flowers and crap all on the bottom of the waterways. So it makes the water look black, but the water's clear, but the bottom is black. So every once in a while you'll see this spot that's just the dirt color, and so it's that sandy color, and each one of those is a nest from the Plecostomuses, because they clear all the stuff out for their nest, and then they burrow underneath, and they burrow in and make like a den. Well, their little tail sticking straight out of that little den, and he just walked over barefoot where the alligators are. Barefoot walked over there and reached down and grabbed one and brought it up, and I'll show you pictures of it. It was big. It was the same size as the one, unfortunately, from my aquarium when it died. I had a big aquarium. But they're native to South America. They're not native to South Florida. And it's kind of unfortunate, but it is what it is. I mean, it's no different than we have goldfish in our river that eat the salmon eggs. So, yeah, it was pretty cool though. And then from then on out, I'm like, oh, look, there's another nest. Oh, look, there's another nest over there. And, yeah, Plecostomus it's pretty cool. We tooled around. He showed us some little alligators, and where there was quite a few of them that were roaming around. And as we're driving, boating, riding rapidly through these little pathways that have been cleared, a little one would go across, and then another one would go, and they were just getting out of the way of the noise, and they hear the boats and they move. There was a lot, probably, I don't know, I would say I physically saw at least 50, but I'm sure there were more that I didn't, I couldn't count them. There were so many. And then we got back to the boat area, and he goes, oh, I want to go look. So we went looking, because he said there's another nest that's somewhere close to where their dock is. And there's a lizard out there going. It's pretty funny. I might have to get a video of the lizards here too, because they're hilarious. But so we got an extra 15 minutes out of our hour ride, and we went looking for this other nest, but he couldn't find it in the reeds. So we got back. He tied up the boat, and we all got off, and we're standing there on the shore, and I looked out over the little bay area where the dock is, or where the boat ramp is. And there was at least a 6-foot alligator just cruising along the water. And I'm like, my aunt goes, look, there's a gator. And I'm like, yep, I've been watching it. But they're everywhere. It was kind of neat to see so many of them in such a short period of time. He said that it's gator season's coming up, and they're getting ready to open that, and they will hunt them. And it helps to keep the numbers down, because these mamas do have lots of babies every year. He said the good time to come down and see them is during mating season, because then the males are a lot more boisterous and noisy, and they're out more, which is in the spring. So obviously before egg season, and different seasons, different times. And then when it's, hunting season, they're not out there looking at alligators at all, because they're smart and they go to the bottom. But he also said stuff about how they only come and float on the top when it's cooler, because when it's so hot, they don't want to be up there. So pretty cool. Lots of information, lots of stuff to learn. Some stuff we knew, some stuff we didn't, but he gave enough information, but not so much it seemed like he was lying, because sometimes you go on those tours and you go, really? I don't think so. But it was fun. It was really fun. Anyways, I'll be back with the next adventure.